All right, those who pay attention to my posts will know that I bought this cordless Nacecare backpack off eBay not too long ago. I think it just arrived last Tuesday, and I've been waiting to charge the battery here because it was pretty cold when it arrived, and I had been reading up on them saying like never to charge a really cold lithium-ion battery. You know, I didn't want to risk damaging it because a replacement battery is about $650, which after shipping and tax, I only paid about $330 for this machine. So I definitely didn't want to have to replace a battery or even, cause it to prematurely wear. But yeah, it's like a while ago I saw one of these on eBay for around $400, but it was missing the charger, and the charger runs around $350. So it's like, And then this one popped up, and it's like, okay, I'm going to get that. Temptation leans on the doorbell. Now, it does use the same bags as like the Henry, like the NVR, or what is it, NVH 200, as well as like the 160s and whatever. And then we have this inner cloth bag, which it was very slightly dirty when I got it, so I decided, I'm gonna go ahead and wash this. And then I discover this little tag here: do not wash. Well, nothing bad happened, clearly. And then we just have a little foam filter, and then there is a HEPA version. They just add an H to it, so it's like an NVH. And you can kind of see where the HEPA filter would go in here. And unlike the proteam that I did measurements on, but similar to their current models, this is a 2-speed. So we have a low speed and we have a high speed. And I know that these are a brushless motor. Oh. And it's like, I wish they would have differentiated this just a little bit more, because this pattern really isn't too, like, noticeable, but this lid only goes on one way, because it's round on the back and it has a little bit of a shape on the front. If you're not paying attention, you'll put it on and be like, why doesn't this fit? So it's like, I wish they would have done just a little bit more, or even made it completely round. That would have been fine too. 2 little latches. And the battery life on this is said to be, I'll have to double check it. I want to say it's like 90 minutes on low and 55 on high. And the battery, I've got to move this little lever. Push that in until it clicks, and then we slide this down over it to lock it in place. And then when you go to take it out, you just flip that back up and press the little eject switch right there. It's nice that it has a little carrying handle on it. Makes it, I think it's a little bit easier to change than the protein battery. But, it's all going to vary person by person. Some might like the protein battery better. I know they are currently supposed to last longer. I can't remember what their battery specs are offhand. And just like with the protein, we'll do this with and without the cone, just because. So let's start it off on low, then we'll do high. Right? Alright, this is going to be a little bit harder to do one-handed, so start it up first. Switch it over. And now we'll do suction. I know this thing does have a shutoff in it. I don't think it triggers on low, but it definitely triggers on high. So hopefully we can catch its full suction before it cuts out. So we'll start off on low. Pretty impressive for a cordless machine, I think. Now, I've actually brought out the standard Henry hose with this, as well as the hose that it comes with, just because there was something I did want to show you guys. And possibly, well, I doubt anyone at Pneumatic is actually going to watch this, but I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe it'll make its way over to them somehow. Alright, we're set up with its standard hose, and then we have the elbow it comes with, or whatever you want to call this, does not have a suction relief on it. Which I suppose, you know, considering these are made for commercial environments, you probably would never need to use one. Either that or careless people would leave it open, and, you know, then the vacuum would seem weak. But let's start it off on low. Switch it over to high. And back on low. Alright, so now we're going to do this with the standard, like, what, 8-foot tapered Henry hose. And I've decided to keep, you know, a 90-degree bend in here because, you know, using this as a backpack, you are going to have a bend. It's like, if you wanted, you know, ideal airflow results, you would lay it straight. But it's like, it's never going to be in that configuration using it as a backpack. And in the interest of saving time, I think I'm just going to measure the high speed. Because, I mean, it's really not important to see both of them. I just want to show the difference. Alright, so with the Henry hose attached, we have gone up in power. Which, with this being a longer hose, that really shouldn't be the case. But I think the machine end connection is the weak point in the typical backpack hose. Again, Henry hose. Oh, shut off. Alright, and for the floor head test, I often see these sold with what they call the free flow tool. It's just a straight suction tool. It's got dual squeegees. It's pretty flat. I know there's a collector out there who just loves this tool. I'm not huge on it, but it's not bad. But it is good at transitioning between surfaces. I mean, it does a fine job on carpet. It does good on hard floors. It's just with the dual squeegee design, it definitely will push around larger debris, which I think in a commercial environment, you know, you're likely to get a lot of rocks and pebbles. It's like, I could see it being a little bit annoying for that purpose. Although I think with a cordless machine like this, they would have been better off pairing it with like the RD297, which it's not really present here in the States, but it has been marketed with some of the new eco vacs over in Europe. I mean, they really get Miele has actually released them. I can't remember what it was called at the moment. But yeah, that thing has a lot of retention of the vacuum's power. So it would have been a good match for a cordless machine like this. Anyways, I've rambled on enough. Let's get down to this and get done. Alright, here we are on low speed. Well, maybe the 297 isn't needed. It's pretty good retention, I think. Switch it over to high. Whoop. Alright, before I go any further, this is what the underside of the tool looks like. Two wheels on the front, and then we have a squeegee on the back, we have a squeegee on the front, and then we have some lint picking strips. You know, like I said, very, very flat tool. Alright, so I'm sure somebody's going to wonder, how well does this thing run a turbo brush? And the answer is, It's like here I have two of them. I have the old style genuine pneumatic aero brush. It struggles more with this one, and then I also have the Wesselworks TK286, which I believe Pneumatic is now using as their aero brush. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. It has a nice little battery indicator on the switch. The Proteam's, at least my one at work, doesn't. It has a indicator that's on the battery, but you can't see that while you're using it. So let's try it on low first. And it's like when there's no resistance, you can hear it will move it. But it's like there's next to no motion there. So let's turn it up to high. It's moving, but not much. Okay, switch the heads. All right, on to the 286. It's not fully stopped. Still some motion, even on low. Well, let's turn it up. So yeah, it's not really an ideal machine for a turbine brush. I mean, it can run a very efficient one like the 286, but I don't think I would recommend it. Because I mean, as shown in one of my previous videos, using a turbine brush does rob some of your airflow in exchange for creating that agitation. So, you know, you're going to get mediocre agitation, and then you're going to cut down the lower flow provided by a cordless machine. Not a real win-win situation. But if you were looking to add agitation, maybe one of Wesselworks' new cordless power nozzles would be an answer. I could see this thing pairing well with their new EBK 250. I think that small head would suit this machine quite well. But going back to the free flow tool, we are going to do a few passes on low and then a few on high. So even on low, it does pretty well with like surface dirt. of course, you know, and I just wanted to note, I find this much more comfortable than the proteam. It's like I'll have to compare the weights, but it seems a lot lighter to me. Maybe it's just the straps on here. They do have a good amount of padding to them, but it definitely feels a lot better wearing this. And although it does have a shorter battery life on them, the batteries are also much less expensive. The batteries for the protein backpack run around $1,000. These run around 650, which, yes, that is very expensive, but commercial cleaning products tend to have very costly parts. But if we compare the machines themselves, you can get one of these backpacks for about $1,250, where a protein one will run you around 2,000. And I know they also do make an optional 1.5-inch hose for these if you wanted to stick with the 1.5-inch style tools. But I think the ones that they would include with it, like the free flow or whatever else they would possibly include, would be just fine. And it's like, you know, this is a cordless machine. It's not quite as powerful, but I really like it actually. It's just very convenient. Kind of grab and go and get wherever you need to. It does a decent job. What's not to like?